welcome back. Joining us now is Ashley with the Discovery Center and John with Brewer Science. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, nano days. Sounds really scientific and complicated to me. But not so much. It's just, what is nano days?
Well, so nanoscience, we are part of the Discovery Center. We're kind of participating in Nano Days, where we're have special demonstrations and we have exhibits all about nanoscience. So when you're talking about nanoscience, you're talking about things on a very small scale. So a nanometer. So to get to a meter, you would need 1 billion nanometers. So we're talking tiny.
Tiny.
Can I just jump right in real quick?
You can.
Because I didn't know this was going to be about math, number one. Number two, I saw Brew Science. I thought this was going to be a beer thing.
I don't think
So,
it's a beer thing, but it'll be fun, I promise. Just stick with it.
There's no beer and there's math. How?
If you make it through this, we'll get you a beer somewhere. I promise that. Okay, so now you tell me, you're kind of scientist here. Brewer Science is a company based out of Rolla, but you do some work here with JVIC, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us about your involvement here in Springfield.
Yeah, well, we've got about 20 people working at the Jordan Valley Innovation Center in downtown Springfield.
Right.
We call it the Carbon Electronics Center, so we're focused on basically trying to take some disruptive technologies and bring them out of thin air. So basically we work with carbon nanotubes and build sensors and all sorts of things that don't even exist right now. So
really? Well, we need people like you to do that, because everything you just said went whew, right over the top of my head. I mean, believe me, it actually did. So, you've got an experiment here now. Is this kind of, and by the way, Brewer Science is all about education.
Absolutely.
You want young people to get involved in science and technology, which is part of what you do.
Absolutely.
So you partnered here with the Discovery Center. What have you got here? This is sand.
Yes. So this covers sort of the basics of nanoscience. So we have 2 trays of sand here. Obviously, the difference is in color, but when you touch them and you pick it up, they feel exactly the same.
Okay.
So the only difference is the color. But I brought some water, so we're gonna scoop some of this green sand and pour it in a cup, and then so when we take it out and when we feel it, it's wet, kind of what you expect sand to do. At a beach you can make great sand castles. That's what, so that's like what we would expect sand to do. So when we take this purple sand that feels the same as this green sand, we put it in the water, and we scoop this sand out. It's dry.
It's still dry.
It's dry.
Now, how does that work?
Yeah.
Is it something with the color?
It's not the color. The color is just so we can tell the difference. But this is, the purple sand is coated with a nanometer thick of chemical that repels water.
Oh, wow.
But this kind of shows how small we're talking about when we talk about nanoscience, because you can't feel the difference or see the difference.
Because it is so small. So that's the lesson here for kids, is that just because it looks the same, it may be vastly different.
Yeah, so at the Discovery Center, we have, exhibits for nanoscience. So we teach them the basics behind nanoscience, and then they grow up and they become like John, hopefully, and talk about the nanoscience and like kind of the real world implications.
Sure. Okay, you have a couple of other things that you've brought here that look hugely complicated. Circuit board or something? What have you got here?
This is just kind of a large-scale design to kind of show the complexity that exists in our electronic components, in our cell phones, and our tablets, and our computers. And what Brewer Science does is we help shrink those down. So we make materials that enable them to make these materials on a small nano level where you can't see any of these pieces with your naked eye.
Right.
So,
and somehow you fit, well, I mean, it still blows my mind that you can fit like hours and hours and hours of video and millions of pieces of paper on a little, on a little memory stick. So all of that still blows my mind, and I don't know how much smaller possibly we can get. But still, you do want men and women to get in, the young boys and young girls to get into the field, especially young ladies, because, there's a lot yet to be determined here. A lot yet to be invented, and there's no telling the things you're going to see over the course of your time here at JVIC over just the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yes, absolutely. Things are changing rapidly. You're talking about the advancement of electronics. More this phenomenon that we've noticed where computer power is doubling every 18 months, and they're also shrinking in size by half. And this has happened over the last 35 to 40 years. So if you keep that going, it's going to be really interesting to see what the future is going to hold.
It is. It blows my mind. All right, John and Ashley, and I know you enjoy playing with the sand.
Yeah.
So
I was actually just going to say, because I contributed nothing to this segment, this color, just in case you were wondering, there it is right there, this color, hot color for your fingernails this spring, it's the #1. I don't even know why I know it, but I know that that's true.
And you heard it here first.
That's the truth. It's like the hot color. I'm right, right?
City Market right after this.
I'm right about this.
I got to get my nails done.